We quickly move on to DD2 for their Superheat, and let's take you through the starting grid. Nikita Genza will start from pole position. Alongside him will be Tim Miekemetz. Nico Handke and Mats-Johan Overhoff round out row 2 ahead of Yannick Jacobs and Bennett Demler. Malte Schlatterer and Maximilian Adolf round out row 4 ahead of Jan Müller and Jan Eckstein, who round out the top 10. Robert Chopian starts 11th ahead of Rudi Freis, David Schirrush, Marek Mak, Merman Ben Amour, Ronny Göttler, Louis Dieterich, Luca Weber, Daniel Lange, Luca Schade and Noah Stretz, rounding out the 21-strong grid. In terms of the championship permutations, Nikita Genza has now moved ahead of Robert Chopian in the standings, but it is still 364 points to Yannick Jacobs and Tim Miekemetz 360. Mats-Johan Overhoff still holds on to third in the championship standings on 342, with Nikita Genza on 333 and Robert Chopian on 326. So 12 minutes plus an additional lap for the DD2 drivers, and then we'll have the Masters that will conclude the Superheat stage of this third round of the championship season, which will effectively bring us to half-time. We'll have the finals to the end of round 3, and then round 4 will take place 56 days from today on the 10th to the 11th of August at the F-Landring at Kartbahn Kerpen in Western Germany. So 2 wins so far for Der Motorsport's Nikita Genza. Will that success continue, or will someone have something to say about it and stake their claim to the front row of the grid for the final later on? Lights are on the gantry. Into the tram lines, revs rise, lights are out first time, and a good start by the outside of the front row as everyone feeds their way into turns 1 and 2 on the opening tour here at Ampfing. And it is not Nikita Genza that's leading, it's Tim Miekemetz that is leading the way in this early exchange, with Mats-Johan Overhoff now making his way up into P3. He started 4th on the grid. So through into the chicane. I did have a chat with Mats-Johan Overhoff, who was all smiles this morning. He said, look how I sent it, and he had all 4 wheels in the air. Now he's giving chase to the 2 in front. Nico Handke ahead of Yannick Jacobs, with Bennett Demler rounding out the top 6. Make that now a change. Yannick Jacobs gets through on Nico Handke. Bennett Demler trying to thread the eye of the needle, but couldn't make the job happen. As Jan Eckstein also looking rather racy indeed. But with Tim Miekemetz changing the script somewhat, he's got Nikita Genza hot on his heels in the battle for the race lead, with Mats-Johan Overhoff from Kraft Motorsport, along with teammate and current championship leader Yannick Jacobs giving chase.
Vorne an der Spitze also Tim Miekemetz, der sich durchsetzen konnte gegen Nikita Genza. Das sah ja gestern noch anders aus.
Ja.
Da war es eher Genze, der weiter vorne unterwegs war. Aber die beiden Der Motorsport-Piloten wieder ganz dicht beisammen. Auch kein Wunder. Und hier dreht sich mit der 409 das Fahrzeug von Nico Handke, nachdem er da zusammengekommen ist mit Maximilian Adolf. Da ging es im Kampf um die 5. Position. Für Handke kein gutes Ende genommen, dieser Kampf, und ist da weit zurückgefallen. Und somit jetzt also ein Kampf um die vordersten Platzierungen erst einmal raus. Dritter übrigens Mats-Johan Overhoff. Ist er auch jetzt dran an Nikita Genza. Kann er da vielleicht sogar seine Chance nutzen, irgendwo vorbeizukommen? Und auch Yannick Jacobs ist noch nicht geschlagen. Auch der ist noch sehr dicht dran an dieser Konkurrenz. Vielleicht geht da auch noch was für ihn.
Top 4 covered by just 1 second. Fastest lap of the race now done by new race leader Nikita Genza, who's got a 4/10 advantage over teammate Tim Miekemetz. Mats-Johan Overhoff and Yannick Jacobs. What they need to do, yes, they are teammates, yes, they're going to race each other. They need to work together right about now. But, is that now?
Handke.
That is Nico Handke pulling to the right-hand side of the circuit. which could bring, that's good awareness from someone of his experience, obviously running in GT cars these days, particularly GT3s, especially with his run at the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring Nordschleife a couple of weeks ago. But Nikita Genza starting to pull open a little bit of a gap. Tim Mika-Metz showed intent by overtaking his teammate on the start phase, and that was important. That was for Mika-Metz to say to Genza, look, you are not going to have it all your own way this weekend. I want a victory in my own right.
Ja, für Mika-Metz geht es natürlich darum, möglichst viele Punkte mitzunehmen. Im Kampf gegen Yannick Jacobs hat natürlich gestern schon so ein bisschen was aufholen können. Es sind nur noch 4 Zähler zwischen Platz 1 und Platz 2, zwischen Yannick Jacobs und dem Mika-Metz, auch Nikita Genze. Würde ich dann noch nicht komplett rausrechnen. 31 Punkte Rückstand auf Yannick Jacobs nach den gestrigen Superheats. Vielleicht auch da noch die Möglichkeit, vielleicht zu attackieren, wenn es dann darum geht, in der Meisterschaft tatsächlich das Ding nach Hause zu fahren. Aber, wenn ich es richtig gesehen habe, ist Nikita Genze jetzt wieder an der Spitze. Also wieder vorbeigegangen an Tim Mika-Metz. Vielleicht ist es die Wiederholung des gestrigen Tages und Nikita Genze scheint hier nur schwer zu schlagen zu sein. Man muss dazu sagen, Mika-Metz ein bisschen mit körperlichen Schwierigkeiten an diesem Wochenende, hatte beim Freitagstest einen Achsbruch hinten und ist dann beim Wiederlanden unglücklich auf den Sitz gestoßen, hat seitdem extrem starke Rückenschmerzen, eine Prellung im Rücken, mindestens mal eine Prellung im Rücken, sagte er gestern. Und die Schmerzen, die treiben ihm tatsächlich beim Fahren auch zwischendurch mal die Tränen ins Auge. Also da muss man schon auch den Hut vorziehen, dass der Mika-Metz überhaupt hier an diesem Wochenende unterwegs ist und dann auch noch ganz vorne mit dabei. Vielleicht reicht es dann nicht für Platz 1, aber für Platz 2, zumindest mal augenblicklich, reicht es dann für ihn schon.
First time penalty of this race coming in, 495. Norstretz causing an avoidable collision. Well, Norstretz is currently in 19th and is still more than 7 seconds ahead of Daniel Lange, who rounds out the field so far. Nico Hanke, shame for him, helmet off, race suit undone, watching by the sidelines. But Nikita Genza still putting in fastest lap after fastest lap. He's just done a 43.708, all the way down to Robert Chorpion in 7th. Everyone has done a personal best on their last lap, where we saw 7 laps completed so far. But there are some really good tussles happening up and down the order here in DD2. But meantime, well, the gap that Nikita Genza has got, Tim Mika-Metz has got 2 hard-charging Kraft Motorsport drivers right behind him in the form of Mats-Johan Overhoff and Yannick Jacobs. And now this is the opportunity for the strength in numbers strategy to come into prevalence. Now, Overhoff was possibly looking for a move on the inside of turn 1. A little bit further back, we have got a side-by-side contretemps, but Overhoff trying to put the pressure on Metz to see if he can force him into an unusual error. And sometimes when you are when you're driving hurt, especially in the case of Mika-Metz, who's got back pain as a result of what happened on Friday testing, you know, he's probably dosed up to the eyeballs with paracetamol and ibuprofen at the minute to try and keep all that pain at bay. But the adrenaline will be helping. Mats-Johan Overhoff is looking very, very racy, and now is seeing that there is an opportunity. Will it be a dive bomb down the final corner? Or will it be the fact that he went airborne whilst going straight lining the chicane yesterday in the second heat? Because, yeah, Genza's on course to take another win, but it's what's happening behind that's become the real more interesting talking point.
Absolut, wir sehen gerade den Kampf zwischen Jan Müller und David Gieruk im Kampf um die 2. Position in der Clubsportwertung. Da setzt sich jetzt erstmal Müller wieder durch, nachdem er da gekontert hat gegen Gieruk, der Ende Stadtziel vorbeigegangen war. Deswegen die Kameras da gerade auch drauf geblieben. Vorne an der Spitze ändert sich erst einmal nichts. Wir sehen das hier wieder eingeblendet. Nikita Genze, dann Tim Mika-Metz, Mats-Johan Overhoff und Yannick Jacobs. Und dann dauert es lange, bis hier Maximilian Adolf und Jan Eckstein auf 5 und 6 durchs Bild fahren. 4 Minuten und 15 Sekunden noch auf der Uhr für die Piloten der DD2-Klasse.
So just coming up to just over 4 minutes to go, plus an additional lap, and Nikita Genza is away, and he has quite clearly checked out to the tune of what will be north of 2 seconds very, very shortly. The 4:07 comes across the line to complete lap number 11. Mika Metz holding off Overhoff still for that second place, but Overhoff looked, and there was a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, but it wasn't enough for Overhoff to squeeze through. Overhoff is being patient, so is Jacobs. And the big thing is, now I had a chat with Hans-Gerd Overhoff, Mats's dad, this morning, and he said whenever he's happy, he drives well. And I said he's like the comedy joker of the Kraft Motorsport tent. He's always smiling, he's always on his phone or talking crap with everybody else in the paddock. But when he's happier, you see a different side to the driver. They're a lot more relaxed. They're a lot more composed and able to focus in. And that's what we're seeing for Mats Overhoff. Could this be the turning point for his championship season? Because when he won the E20 Senior Crown in Bahrain at the Grand Finals last December, I said to him, what's the focus for 2024? He said, well, I want to win in internal combustion as well. So that's why he went, I'm going to go for it in DD2 and see what happens. A little bit further back, an overtake occurring. That was the 4:59 of Jan Müller on, I think, I couldn't really make out the number. It might have been Marek Mark, the 4:12. And I think they've still got David Girush right with them at the minute. So I still remember Girush when he was a junior, and I got accosted by his dad saying, no, surname is wrong. And I'm like, what is it then? So it's Girush. Girush. So it's like a silent H at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so... but with 2.25 minutes to go, it's really ramping up, because I think someone's got to pull the trigger in that three set of drivers, as we're seeing now, another overtake, that time from Marek Mak, back on David Girush. It's going to be a tough one to call on who's going to pull the trigger first. Is it going to be Mika Metz? Is it going to be Overhoff? Is it going to be Jacobs? It's a tough one to call, because they are very much even on pace. Jacobs is the slowest, but no surprise really, because he's behind two other drivers who are matching him on pace. I mean, Tim Mika Metz last time round, well, did a 43.948. Overhoff 43.964. Jacobs 44.021. So they are within that modicum of about 8/100ths of a second between the three of them. It is next to nothing. And I think now is that they're at that point in the race of thinking, okay, we've got the final intermediate classification after the Superheats. That'll see where I go on for the grid for the final later on today, and then I'm going to give it everything in the final. 3 laps to go.
18 Runden werden wir also hier erleben am heutigen Sonntag im Superheat der DD2-Klasse. Nikita Genze, knappe 2 Sekunden vorneweg, das wird wohl reichen, da wird nicht mehr viel passieren. Dann Mika Metz, der scheint sich auch so ein bisschen freischwimmen zu wollen von der Konkurrenz von Mathieu Overhoff und Yannick Jacobs, wobei Yannick Jacobs immer noch sehr nah dran ist, und die fahren alle auf einem so konstant gleichen Niveau, dass es wirklich erschreckend, was die Piloten da vorne an der Spitze gerade abliefern. Man hat so ein bisschen den Anschein, als würde Mathieu Overhoff die letzten 2 Runden sich so ein bisschen zurückgezogen haben, was die Kämpfe, was den direkten Kampf mit Mika Metz angeht, weil er sich halt auch nach hinten orientieren musste. Aber ich könnte mir vorstellen, dass sich das Ganze eben auch noch ändern kann, wenn wir in die letzte Runde hineingehen. Mika Metz schaut, dass er da irgendwie seinen Vorsprung von 1,5 Fahrzeuglängen irgendwie beibehalten kann. Vorne an der Spitze Nikita Genze ohne Probleme unterwegs, und jetzt setzt sich dann auch wieder Mathieu Overhoff für die zweite Position stark ein. Achtung, da wird es außen herum versucht. Das ist die Stelle, wo wir schon das ein oder andere Mal gesagt haben, von da außen rum zu überholen, das bringt dich oft in die Lage, dass du dann von hinten richtig attackiert wirst. Yannick Jacobs konnte aber in diesem Fall keinen Profit draus schlagen. Metz versucht alles, Platz 2 beizubehalten. Es ist die letzte Runde, auch für Nikita Gense, der dann auch hier am heutigen Sonntagvormittag nicht zu schlagen ist. Kommt gleich auf Start und Ziel. Letzte Kurve ist angesagt. Es gibt nochmal Gelb in der letzten Kurve.
Oh, Yannick Jacobs trying to go around the outside, but Nikita Genza keeps the clean sweep going. Oh, Mats Johan Overhoff was trying everything in the playbook. Nikita Genza wins a third race in a row. What a drive for the 407 from Del Motorsport, taking the win by 2 3/4 seconds after 18 laps of racing. Tim Mika-Metz well fended off the attacks of both Mats Johan Overhoff and Yannick Jacobs, with the 404 rounding out the top two for the team. With Overhoff third, Jacobs fourth, Maximilian Adolf making up 3 places from 8th on the grid to finish 5th, ahead of Jan Eckstein and Robert Schopian, who both made up 4 places apiece. Bennett Demler, Ronny Göttler and Luca Weber round out the top 10, ahead of Rudi Freis, the highest placed club sport driver in the class. Martin Stratter, Jan Müller, David Giroux, Mermin Benamor, Louis Dietrich, Daniel Lanch and Luca Schade round out the 18 that finished. Marek Mak and Noah Stretz, unfortunately, retired with a lap and a bit to go, with Nico Handke out after contact on lap 3.